Alright, so I wanted to briefly list the reasons I think Call of Duty Ghosts 2 could have been the best Call of Duty ever made. And we're not going to waste much time with it, but I am going to say, I love Call of Duty Ghosts, and I know the issues people have with it, and I fully agree with a lot of them. The time to kill was too fast, there was Crutch Perks, it was ugly as sin, and the dynamic and interactable environments were not all they were cracked up to be. That being said, I think a lot of people didn't learn how to play Call of Duty Ghosts, and that ended up kicking their ass in the end, because instead of thinking outside the box and using what the game had to offer, they decided to constantly complain. I am guilty of that in some scenarios, I will fully admit, but with Call of Duty Ghosts, I'm not, and I'm gonna explain why. First of all, Call of Duty Ghosts maps are usually critiqued for being way too big, and to that I say boo-hoo. Maybe they weren't best for competitive, and that is totally fair to say, but the created class system in Call of Duty Ghosts is so overlooked it's criminal. Yes, the maps are very big, and yes, they do encourage a lot of camping. But you know what the created class system encouraged? Creativity, thinking outside of the box, interesting combinations and variations. See, I bet a lot of you didn't even run riot shields on your back with the portable radar so that you could switch to the portable radar to see if there's anybody nearby, so you know if someone's camping in that building, and then you can move on ahead. And I bet a lot of you didn't know that the best DMR in the game is the Honey Badger with semi-auto and a foregrip. It is incredibly accurate and kills way too damn fast and needed a nerf, but nobody used it because nobody fucking experimented. I know a lot of people didn't just run sitrep or blast shield when they were pissed off about IEDs, and I know why, and I'll get to that problem in a minute, because in this video I'm going to be talking about why Call of Duty Ghosts 2 could have been awesome. But I know for a fact, a lot of people didn't run off the grid, a lot of people didn't run incognito, a lot of people didn't run sitrep or wiretap. They didn't run the things that made the game interesting, and therefore to them it was boring, repetitive camp fest. And the people that only played with super basic classes or just camped made it a more boring camp fest, undoubtedly. But this created class system was so deep, it was so advanced, you don't even realize it until you really look at it analytically. You can make so many cool combinations in this game, but there's a problem. The Crutch Perks. The Crutch Perks are so bad in this game that it almost completely spoils the whole pot. Some of the maps are so big that if you don't have Marathon, the game feels like a chore. The flinch is so bad that you need focus to win gunfights. Your footsteps are so damn loud, you're gonna want dead silence all of the time. And because everyone has dead silence, you're also gonna want awareness. You're also gonna want ready up in case you want to, I don't know, win a gunfight. And see, we already have a problem. And I'm not even mentioning stuff like Scavenger, Stalker, or Quick Draw, which also took up several points. And what if you wanted to reload faster? Well, yeah. So that is our first reason that Call of Duty Ghosts 2 could have been one of the best CODs ever. This advanced of a created class system where you can really tweak your playstyle down to the individual 1-point perk. You can really do that in COD Ghosts. Customization is key, and understanding the customization is also key, and a lot of people didn't do that. Call of Duty Ghosts 2 could have remedied this by reducing flinch from the get-go, adding unlimited sprint from the get-go, not allowing people to choose to aim down sight faster or move faster while aiming down sight, and they could have just reduced the sprint out time. Yes, they could have done that in the Call of Duty Ghosts patch, but they didn't, so Ghosts 2 could have done that. Second of all, the aesthetics are no mystery. This game is ugly. I mean, this game actually, a little interesting fact, the engine that Call of Duty Ghosts used was actually very new. It was a very new iteration of the COD engine, but that's how software updates work. It was new, in the same way that Windows 10 is new and Windows 7 is old. They're both Windows, but Windows 10 is newer. They actually had HDR built into the engine. And in certain scenes in this game's campaign and around these multiplayer maps, you can really see a really great dynamic range, great contrast, great lighting, great saturation in some areas. But then, I don't know what the fuck happened over there at the Infinity Ward Studios, because it just feels like somebody grabbed a bunch of knobs and switches and started playing with them until the game looked like dog shit. And then you play it on consoles and you get a pretty shitty resolution. It's just damn unfortunate. Call of Duty Ghosts could have improved this. Instead of a plain white plus 100 when you get a kill, it could have been a nice deep yellow one that we're used to from previous Call of Duty games. Ghosts 2 could have had better lighting, because this game has this weird overexposed lighting when you look up at light sources where it just like makes your gun turn bright white. It's ugly as shit. And of course, better music. Call of Duty Ghosts trailer has like Eminem, and it's really fast paced and it's awesome. And then when you play the game and the music is so drab and dark and boring, I don't know why they did that. This game needed a more badass vibe and a better color scheme. Call of Duty Ghosts could have done that through music and better visuals. The next thing that people always make fun of are the dynamic and interactable environments. Knocking over a gas station or punching a hole in a wall is just stupid, or the map just shakes occasionally, who cares? Look, I don't know why people criticized it so much instead of looking at it as something that could have gotten a lot better over time. This was their first go at dynamic elements, and I think it's actually kinda cool. The maps feel more alive. I mean, some of the effects can go suck my ass. I mean, the elevator on Stormfront is stupid, the shaking on Tremor and Freefall is annoying. I don't know, on this map here, I think it's called Freight, you can like open and close a bunch of like big mechanical doors, and this will actually really change the way the game plays, and I like that. Call of Duty Ghosts 2 could have improved on it by having interesting, yet hopefully pretty subtle, interactable dynamic elements. You could have had dynamic day and night cycles, dynamic weather, we could have had wind that throws off your sights if you're standing in certain parts of the map, earthquakes that actually cut the ground in half and make a no-go area. I had an idea for a map that's kind of small and kind of simplistic, and there's a big wall between one side and the other side, be kind of a more linear square map, and this wall will take damage over time. Like you can, shoot it with RPGs and bullets and, slowly damage it more and more and more, and then when it crumbles, the map becomes way more open. And it wouldn't just happen naturally, you'd have to really go for it. Somebody would have to throw like 10 or 15 RPGs at it and not get killed while doing it. I don't know, if there's one thing that Rainbow Six Siege has taught me, it's that subtlety is something that's incredibly overlooked in video games. You don't need to knock down a skyscraper to have dynamic, interactable environments. I think just little things would have made Call of Duty Ghosts 2 a much better game. Again, dynamic weather, secret corridors, and stuff you can blow open with like shotguns and shit would have been cool. Imagine like a little shed that has a little like upper loft that's a great sniping area, but the only way you can get to it is by planting C4 on the front. So if you don't have C4 on your class, you don't get to open it. Would it change the game entirely? No, but it makes it a little bit more interesting. Call of Duty maps are so static, they're so boring, they're so stale, there's nothing intriguing about them. Moving parts, little interactable things, an opening closing door is all it takes to just change the way a certain engagement plays out. I mean, what about shooting, I don't know, a fire extinguisher and then whoever's near it gets the fucking foam all over their face and they can't see? You only do it like maybe once or twice a match depending on how many fire extinguishers are around, but that could have been interesting. And it's a shame that Call of Duty is going back to more static, boring maps with Black Ops 4. I hope throughout their DLCs or something, I don't know, they actually add some maps that maybe they're not competitively viable, but they're fun. And I don't play Call of Duty competitively, and neither does majority of the player base. So I don't know. Moving on, the weapons. The time to kill in Call of Duty Ghosts is been ranted about forever, and I'm not going to rant about it here. You died too fast. We all know that. And some people liked that, but I do think they could have kept that time to kill, but just increased recoil, added some long distance spread so tap firing was important, made snipers and LMGs a little bit more clunky like in Black Ops 1. One of my big problems in Call of Duty Ghosts is that as much as I enjoy killing people in it, it's incredibly easy to kill people in it. And for a game with large maps where a lot of people get caught out in the open, it really does encourage people to camp because they have an LMG that isn't going to fight them at range and they know it's just going to melt whoever it touches. Or maybe keep the guns the way they were in Call of Duty Ghosts 1, but I don't know, add the time to kill of Black Ops 4, where everything takes like 1 or 2 more shots than it did in the previous game, just by upping the health a little bit. I don't know, it's a shame to me that Call of Duty really followed the financial success of Black Ops 2, and not the innovative ideas that Call of Duty Ghosts tried. I'm not saying the game is phenomenal, I'm saying they tried. They did interactable environments, they did dynamic environments, they had sliding and leaning, and they had an interesting thing where you could like knife somebody and take their gun off of them before they hit the ground, and yet, and this is mostly their fault, but really people just remember it for dying too fast, ugly colors, and being able to knock over that one gas station on that one map. And it's a damn shame that this game did not live up to its potential. We could have had actual dynamic elements in our games by now if they would have pursued the Call of Duty Ghosts style. But that would have been risky when Black Ops 2 was clearly successful And yeah, let's just pursue that. So yeah, better environments, no crutch perks so that credit class system actually works properly, harder to use weapons, better aesthetics. It makes me mad that I don't think it's ever gonna happen. But hopefully, and this is just something I'm holding on to, deep within my heart of hearts, I hope that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, if it is a real thing, is what I just described. Because I don't want another Black Ops 2. I definitely don't want another Call of Duty World War 2. I don't want another Black Ops 3. And I really, after Black Ops 4, I just want something like COD Ghosts, something like Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops 1. Push the envelope a little bit and take a risk, Activision, please. I mean, you're taking a pretty big risk on Black Ops 4. You're pissing off tons of people with the Season Pass. You have a Battle Royale mode and no story campaign. And the multiplayer feels like a weird mashup between Overwatch and Black Ops 3. So, okay, you are taking risks, but maybe they're not the right ones. We'll see when the game comes out. See you when I see you guys. Goodbye.